Still, oh yeah.
That's why they eventually pulled out Ray out of this. So you're getting almost.
It's like when we're all trying to get him moved from Bolton. And he's still enough there to like, I'm staying out.
Well, good morning. We're going to go ahead and call this board staff to order and recognize Rachel Adams, talk to us about a unique project that community collaborations between behavioral health and disability services housing. So, Rachel.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and get started. I will try and keep this brief and to the point. I appreciate everybody taking the time, especially just a couple days before Christmas, and all the people who came to join us this morning and those online. Annie is online with us and can jump in if needed. So just a little bit of background on how we got to here. So the Blueprint for Homelessness was created through a contract in consultation, or a consultant, excuse me, with Homeward, and then is now being led by the Housing Solutions Alliance. And so this had a lot of community involvement and all of those things. I believe several of you all were involved in that as well. So as part of that, one of the strategies was to expand emergency shelter. And so Polk County was chosen to be the strategy lead for this particular strategy 2A. So with that, we had, and I'm sorry, I'm going to pause for just a moment. I need to move this up so I can see. There we go. All right. That's better. So we had some internal conversations, Frank, Sarah, Deb, Annie, of course, and myself, and some others as well. And then just really looked at what does that look like for Polk County? Where would the funding come from? And then what process did we want to take to be able to move forward? So I was tasked with creating one-pagers or white papers on 3 to 5 viable options and submitting them to Frank and Sarah. And so things got moved a little bit more quickly just because of an option that came about last week that I really feel like is our best option, and so wanted to really move this along. So thank you, Frank, for making that happen. I appreciate it. So with that, Polk County is tasked with funding the purchase and construction costs, and then the operational costs will be funded by the organization who's actually providing the service, and hopefully some community funding along with that. So there was Polk County's ERA 2 funds were allocated to this project in the amount of $3.5 million. So I wanted to take just a moment and say that words matter. So we had family shelter is kind of how this has been referred to all along. I provided documents to you and I called it Family Stabilization Center. And that really came about. I had a conversation with Angie TT, actually, not to call her out. I think she's on. But we just really talked about what image does that provide, and is that really encompassing of what's being provided there? I think oftentimes there's stigma associated with the word shelter, and doesn't really fully explain what's happening there. So, which to me is the more important part of what's really occurring is it's not just a place to come and sleep and to come out of the elements. It's about providing services that create stability. And I feel like, so that's why I'm really looking at the Family Stabilization Center for this project instead of family shelter. So the process, I did have meetings with Families Forward just to kind of get this kicked off and listen to the families, or the needs of the families being served directly from the staff who are providing those services on a daily basis now. And I gathered information about what would be helpful for their family, or for the operational needs of their family center. What could we do? What should that look like? What type of facility? Where in the Polk County area? All of those things. So I took that and then had a conversation with our realtor, who's here with us. And actually we had several conversations, but we talked about land purchase versus adaptive reuse. And as we really looked into things, we investigated many. I know you got 5 from me, but we talked and looked about many. He was probably really tired of getting texted pictures and phone calls from me about, hey, I saw this place, what do you think about it? And got really excited, because I do get really excited about this, and the opportunities that it provides to those we're serving. And so got it narrowed down to 5, and we really decided that adaptive, or I decided, not Chris, that adaptive reuse is probably really our best way to go. Because by the time we purchase land and the time that it will take to do construction, and with construction costs the way that they are right now, that just didn't seem like the best avenue to take. And instead, reusing an underutilized property would be the way to go. So with that, then we completed property tours, and that's where we are now. So here are the options. I was very intentional in referring to these as options versus having the name or location in this presentation. I provided that to all of you as well, but I wanted to ensure that we don't get too focused on the specific location, and also wanted to provide just some privacy for those potential sellers as
Sure.
well. So with those options that I provided to you, I'm gonna focus our time today on what I believe are the most viable options, and I kind of changed the color just a little bit to highlight those on the screen for you. I do want to make a note about option 4 though, and we have some of our city partners here, so I want to make sure to highlight that. I was recently invited to participate in the city's Bloomberg Harvard work group that they're doing, and that's focused around non-congregate shelter. Again, it's another blueprint strategy that the city has been tasked with being the strategy lead for. So since we're working collaboratively on that, I did share the option 4 with them in a meeting last week that we're in, just because I thought it could be a potential partnership or something they might be interested in, just as a better use for that non-congregate shelter space. So kind of getting back to the family options that we're talking about today, option 3 could work. So as you can see, that price point is well below what our budget was, and so there would be plenty of dollars to put towards renovation. Again, it's that adaptive reuse, but I think there would be some significant renovation on that property to be able to get it to the family center that we really would like it to be. Another downside is that the geographical area, I'm a little concerned that it's too close to a permanent supportive housing facility that's nearby. So not a deal breaker, but just some things to consider as we're looking at the different options. So then option 5, I call this my Goldilocks moment. I walked in and was like, oh my gosh, I think this is it. And as we walked through the property and toured and looked at the different rooms and all of those things, I was just like, I can see it. I've got the vision. So I'm just gonna skip to the next slide and show you, because I think visualization is helpful. So as you can see, I put,
They can't hear you.
you haven't heard any of it?
No. Let me hang up and call again, because I don't see it on this. There it is. Why is this not? Hold on, we're gonna hang up and call again. Hold on one second. No, it's the, this is somehow it's muted. So I'm sure how it's muted.
We'll be taking a short technical pause here. Technology is wonderful when it works.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. You entered 8837. This meeting ID does not exist. Please re-enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
Did you get all this? Did you know?
Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. You are in the meeting now. There are 6 participants in the meeting. You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing *6. You are unmuted.
Can you all hear now?
Can you hear?
I think they can.
Okay.
Now I can.
Okay, thanks, Angela. Okay, Rachel,
Okay.
you want to start by catching everybody up?
Sure.
We saw the,
You've heard and seen everything. Okay, great.
well, we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear anything. We saw the slide.
Okay, Rachel, catch us up.
Start with the options.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of different things, but just the Cliff Notes version, I guess, to catch up is that did a lot of property tours, met with families forward to talk about what the option or what they needed, did property tours, came to 5 options. Let's go back to that. There were 5 different options that I provided to the supervisors. I talked about the city is a potential option for non-congregate that I shared with them, which is option number 4, not a good option for this family project. And then we were at 3 and 5 are highlighted as the 2 different viable options. That's where we were at. I talked about option number 3 as a, sorry, I just need that note quick. Some positives about that is it's well below the price point is well below the budget that I have. So we would have space in that budget to do renovations and things like that, which I think would take quite a bit, not a lot, but a significant amount to get it to have it be the type of facility that we would like it to be. So then I was down to option 5. Have I provided enough background? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Option 5.
So option 5, so as I said, this was my Goldilocks moment. I walked in, I felt like it was just right. So when you walk in, I provided the visuals because you can see, so there's the one on the left is just a daylight, one on the right is the evening time, and then when you walk in the front, that's what you see. It's a big wide open space. There's a staircase up to the 2nd floor. So there's rooms on the 1st floor, but then there's also rooms on the 2nd and 3rd floor. There's elevator access central to there's stairs right there going to the 2nd, and then there's stairs on either end as well. So very accessible from that perspective. So I think the biggest things about it is just that it's bright, welcoming, and there's so many different, they have a lot of different configurations of rooms. So when you're talking with families, there's many different configurations of families. You might have a mom and a little one, or you might have a family of 6 or 7. And so having a space that they can all, stay together, some or 2 rooms, that would be ideal, I think, just to have that flexibility of the different options.
Sure.
So the other piece with that, there was a downside as far as some of the rooms, because its suites had whirlpools. There were a handful of those, like whirlpool tubs,
Yeah.
And so we could, though, I think it would be easy to just remove those, cap them off, and then put another bed or something in there to provide even more sleeping spaces. So I think it had a lot of good options there. It also had a pool. I would say half the ones we looked at had pools. This one was in such a way that it was at the end of the building, had a lot of bright natural light, very open. So it would be, it was actually Chris's idea that we could cover that floor and make that into a play area so that there was actually an indoor space. It was large enough and things like that, really thinking about the use. There was also, because there were so many extra rooms than what we had originally planned, I think, we could dedicate, and I wouldn't be operating it, but I have a vision about how I think it could look. And you could essentially use the entire first floor, turn some of those rooms into service delivery spaces. And so having that and then keeping the second and third floors for the sleeping spaces. And then you've got that kind of distinction between service delivery and sleeping space.
What was the build date of the property?
Build,
When was it built?
2005.
2005?
I believe that's off the top of my head, but I have it.
And it currently has a flagship?
Yes, and yes. I had to think about what flagship meant, yes.
Okay.
How many, I don't know if you want to go with rooms, or how many people can it accommodate? I guess
So there are 77 rooms,
77 rooms,
77 rooms as it's laid out currently.
but some are larger than others, it sounds like.
Yep.
And option 3, how many rooms are in that?
Option 3, there are 60 rooms.
Okay, so we do get more rooms.
Get more rooms, and also the option 3, the rooms are pretty much all exactly the same size. I mean, there were some that had 2 beds, or one had a bed and a futon or something like that, but they were sized almost exactly the same. So then I just wanted to also mention, so I know it's above the funding amount that was originally identified. I do think it would save money in the long run, both because of not needed a lot of extensive renovations, and then also because just it's in really good condition. That's not for me to say, that would be through like the inspection process and all of those, but just upon visual, it's in good condition and things like that. Also, on a funding note, I was able to have a brief conversation with Angie DT from the Community Foundation in anticipation of this presentation. There's no promises, however, she does think that there's a potential for donor funding, and Danny's in the room as well. Thank you, Danny, from the Community Foundation. So again, no promises, but she thinks that there are opportunities for that to kind of fill that gap in between the difference. I don't see him here. I didn't get a chance to speak directly to Eric Kuhl, the director of CFYS, but I know that there's funding allocated for hotel stays and things like that, both from the ERA2 and then in general budget to provide when there's overflow need. And so I think that some of that funding could potentially be diverted to this process as well, but I don't want to speak to his funding, but just something I was thinking about as we were talking about it. And then I think also just the location. I know it might not be where people immediately think because it's outside of central Des Moines, but something I feel like we've heard over and over from a Polk County perspective is that why are you locating all services in central Des Moines? Like, can we spread it out? Polk County is bigger than that. Let's look at that. And so I just feel like it's a really, the area is nice. There's green space. There's trails nearby that families could go take a walk on, things like that. I just felt like it was a good, might not typically be what we would look at from the area or location of town, but felt like it was a really good opportunity. And then also it could be operational, like kind of that's my final talking point on it. It could be operational much more quickly than any of the options that we looked at. So, time is of the essence right now. We need to help families, supporting more families and getting them on the path to stability, and self-sufficiency, I think, is really important. So going on to the ask. So my ask today is that,
Before you get to the ask.
Oh,
go ahead.
do you have more questions first?
Just a quick question. Of the residents that we'd be relocating there, how many of them are in need of public transportation? Because I noted the challenge of it being over a mile away.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know the exact number that need public transportation. I do know that we talked about the importance of being on a DART route or near DART. I did map from that location to where it would be, there's a DART stop. It's a mile walk though. Like if you were to walk it, it's a mile to where the DART stop is nearest to that location. So I don't have the exact number that would need that, but I did talk with them about the potential for they said there was potential for a van that then they could take and drop off at that location because it's a park and ride location near it.
Angela, DART, is the Pleasant Hill withdrawal from DART? I don't recall.
Is what?
Did Pleasant Hill serve their 18-month notice to withdraw from DART, or what?
Yes.
So that mile, that will likely be disappearing. It's going to be in the greater.
Yes.
Was your DART stop in Pleasant Hill, or?
That's what you were probably seeing my face. I was trying to decide if that was in Pleasant Hill or on the Des Moines side, but I'm pretty sure that stop that I mapped was still in Pleasant Hill. It wasn't on Des Moines, but it's close to that. Like,
Probably the fairgrounds
So-
would be the closest, I would guess. Dart after Pleasant Hill.
I don't know that off the top of my head. I didn't
It's
map
something to
that far,
consider.
sorry.
Maybe you can take a look. I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably one of those deals where I guess if there's an alternate solution of a van or something.
Yeah.
And again, we don't know the population that will have a vehicle or not have a vehicle either.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
okay, so that brings up a question I have. Is this, I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
I have a tendency to not sit forward enough for this. Is this for long-term housing, or is this temporary emergency?
No, this is
stabilization?
it's emergency,
So
so.
maybe the dart line isn't as
Okay.
important because it's not long-term?
So I think typically the stay is 30 to 90 days. Is that accurate?
I would say closer to 70 is average.
70 is average. So, thank you, Kelsey, was saying the average length of stay is 70 days. So I had estimated 30 to 90, but it sounds like it's a little bit longer. And it is temporary. It's truly emergency shelter housing. So it's not,
And what percentage may have a car, they just don't have a house?
It's the unknown, I think.
Yeah, that really varies. I mean, right now at our shelter, I think we have 8 families and one
She's-
has a vehicle.
Okay.
people won't be able to hear online. She was just saying it really varies and it just depends on the people in shelter whether they have a vehicle. So.
So as you analyze the deferred maintenance and the covering of the pool and hot tub and the accommodations that need to be made in the existing property, have you come up with any budgets or potential costs associated with those improvements?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So this was very recent
Okay.
that this came about
Okay.
last week, and the owner is getting ready to list the property. So that
Okay.
was kind of the push to get this
Okay.
today. So those things would all be part of that. I've got the due diligence packet
Yep.
that I would need to work through with, obviously, all of the
Right.
trusted people here at the county
Right.
that do those things, but I don't have an estimate for that.
Okay,
No,
okay.
not today.
Is there movement possibilities on the price?
My understanding is not if it doesn't go to listing. So I think that, at least from what I understood, and I don't know if you'd rather speak to that or if you just want me to wing it and you can kick me if I'm incorrect. But I think that from what the owner's saying is the price for now. He will list it. We could still put in an offer. But it might not go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm Chris Foltz with NAI Iowa Realty. The owner of this property I've been talking to for a couple months, and initially 2 months ago, he didn't want to sell, and then he called me more recently. I think if he didn't get, his asking price is pretty reasonable. I think it comes out to $58,400 per room. And if we didn't agree to that, I think he would probably go to market with it because he thinks he can get it. So he would probably list it a little bit higher. I think he said the 4.5 asking price is 3 times revenue, which is actually pretty typical. And it's actually on the lower end of the range that you would typically see for a multiple. So yeah, I think he has a pretty reasonable asking price for the asset that he has.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Have we done any outreach with
Thank you,
Pleasant Hill,
Chris.
the city of? I mean, I think we're going to be in their jurisdiction and whether or not we want to have any conversations with them.
I have not done that yet. No, my understanding was I was supposed to provide the options to you guys. Once you determined which option you thought was the best one to pursue, then I would go down the path of getting the proper people involved to have those further conversations. But I have not reached out to the city of Pleasant Hill, no.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and move to your ask, and then we'll go from there.
So the ask is really to get approval today to make a written offer on the property. option 5 property. And so there was a resolution that you guys approved on July 29th that allows Annie to sign those documents with Frank's advanced permission. And then we would start down that path of the big packet of due diligence documents and things like
You
that,
bet.
and those conversations. So that was the ask. And then,
And what would the offer include for due diligence period? Would it be,
Chris, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that.
I think, 30 to 40 days would probably be reasonable.
okay.
So that would work for you guys.
And would that be enough time to assess the physical structure and determine what the changes would need to be and allow us to understand what we're looking at from deferred maintenance and future?
Yes, you should be able to get an appraisal in that amount of time, as well as an inspection. I would say just from the basic outward appearance of the property,
Yeah.
I think deferred maintenance here is pretty minimal. Although my experience is not with inspecting mechanicals and things like that, but yeah, I don't think there's a lot of deferred maintenance.
I mean, ideally, Rachel should be working with also an architect that would be looking at whatever structural changes are required, including the covering of the pool and some of that.
Yes, and with your permission, I would be happy to reach out
Okay.
and start looking into that.
All right, well, I think, my feeling is I'm excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity. I think that we would like to have some more discussion about this and then communicate through Frank our direction. But I think that this is a really good option, and it looks very viable. I think to Supervisor Holmes' comments, I think there's some politics here that need to be addressed just from a protocol standpoint. I think having an intentional conversation with Pleasant Hill is probably appropriate before we would formally move forward with formal offer. But we probably should have some conversation around it.
So I have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So, first of all, thanks for bringing options to us, presentation. I agree that bringing 77 rooms on in a more immediate future, or timeline, is exciting. Questions I have. Is it $3 million that we have set aside?
3.5.
3.5. Okay, and the purchase price is 4.5, and we don't know what it's going to cost to do, even though it's minor, the reconstruction that you're talking about. So I'm not even sure what the offer price is that you're asking for, or what the total package is that you're asking for at this point.
Right.
Plus, you indicated there might be some community support, but I don't know how quickly that can come together, because we still have this gap, and we don't even know what the gap is. So I'm like, interestedly excited, but I need more information.
Yeah. That's totally fair. I understand that. Yep.
I would ask too, I don't think Supervisor Hawkinsmith is on today, but you may reach out to him since it's his district.
Yes. Am I able to do that directly?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the idea that everything we've seen with the blueprint is the family shelter is where our need is the greatest. We identified more than 2 years ago that we needed an additional 70
Lots.
residences or 70 separate shelters for up to 70 families. So this fits, this is very intentional, this is very thoughtful, and we've looked at this from a from a standpoint of need, which is why we directed the ERA funds to this purpose. So I think it's a total appropriate use of money. I do think there is money to be raised in the community to support this initiative. Not speaking for the Community Foundation, outside of the Community Foundation, but even internally, I believe the money to advance a project like this is available. And I think cost is important, but I think finding the right property that isn't going to cost a fortune to renovate, and also that can easily be adapted. It's the best bang for our buck, and I think at that price of $58,400 per room, I think that's a reasonable. I think that's a reasonable swag for where we're going. So I think all the signs are good. We just need some time to work this out. We'll do that individually, one-on-ones with Frank, and then we'll get an answer back to you on this once we've handled the political side. But I think at this time, you should feel comfortable reaching out to Supervisor Hawkinsmith,
Okay.
since this is in his district, and since this is public today, my sense is that it will be on the streets anyway. But I do think we should make those calls soon and have that initial conversation.
So,
Matt, I'd
Yeah.
like to make a comment
Sure.
on the, you hit the head right on the hammer there about the blueprint. This was the #1 priority, and I don't know why I'm echoing, because I can hear it myself, so I'll make this short. But with the public-private partnership, I know that it mentioned the Community Foundation might step up, but I do think with our board itself on the blueprint, I think they'll be very excited to go out and try to raise additional funds for this. This was our #1 priority and our greatest need, and this seems like a great solution to where we're going.
And on that point, Angela, I'm looking at Doug Romig, and he's just shaking his head up and down. Yes, 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 we can find the funds. So Doug's been in his job about a month, and we're delighted to have Doug back from Colorado, and I think he's going to be helping us with this blueprint implementation, and we're really excited about all the opportunities we have to implement real strategies that address unhoused in our community, and this is certainly a step in that direction, a very positive step. Rachel, I commend you for your work and your due diligence on this, and we'll not take a month of Sundays to get back to you, I promise.
thank you. And may I say one more thing?
Sure.
So I know the blueprint, the strategy called for 30-plus additional spaces. Right now, the New Direction Shelter has 8, so that would be 38 total, plus there's, Hope has their facility as well. I intentionally went beyond that 30 because I think as soon as we do the 30, we'll need 30 more. And so to do it now and do that efficiently just seemed like a better way to go. So I just wanted to be clear that that was not fully from the blueprint. Some of that was me taking some liberty with that direction, but I just wanted to point that out. And also, as we're having conversations, clearly I need to have further conversations with Families Forward as our potential operational partner for this to make sure that they are on board with that location and facility as they would be operating it. So I just want to make that point publicly as well, that they're pretty much hearing most of this for the first time, aside for a couple of quick phone calls in advance of this meeting. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, I go back to your first point that you made about the additional 30, because I'm not sure I'm not sure I was tracking there.
So the actual blueprint, I'm going to go back here. Strategy is calling for expansion by 30 units.
Okay.
And I went beyond that because
Yes.
if we do 30 additional, that would be maintaining what's already existing.
Right.
So I think the idea would be that they would combine those operations into one location, so it can't just be 30, or we would technically lose.
Sure.
As of Wednesday, last
Will you come up to the, because other people think.
So, yeah, I want Angela to be able to hear you, Angie.
As of last Wednesday, the 17th, we currently had 135 families on the family shelter wait list with 5 housed in hotels. So that lets you know the great need that is
Sure.
there.
So as of today, we could fill all these rooms and still have need. So I think that's a great point, Angie, and thank you for that. Did you hear that, Angela?
I did.
Yeah.
That's why we got to get moving.
Okay, all right, well, as I said, I think we'll be able to move real quick on this, so, once we handle the politics and figure out the details, I think we can get back to you very soon, to move forward, to proceed, so.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it all. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody, or whatever else you celebrate.
Thank you.